Hello, hello, it's a beautiful day here in Connemara. It's bright and sunny and warm, the flowers are blooming, it's a great day to get out and do some harvesting. So I'm out gathering some herbs and I've collected a lot of mint that I will use for tea. And I'm also collecting some daisies because I will infuse them in oil and make a salve for muscle rubs. I've also collected some mullein leaves. They'll be used for respiratory medicine and maybe for some skin care. I've got them hanging up in the kitchen, drying, and I've got lots of lavender too from the polytunnel. And I use the lavender in various projects. I use it for soap making, I infuse it in oil for body care, and I put it into sleep pillows. I hang it up in little bunches around the kitchen, and I use it in these various projects as well as using the buds for little blessings. So there's so much to be doing at this time of year. It's lovely to keep busy, and today I'm going to gather some herbs to make some tinctures and teas. Californian poppy, it's so beautiful. The golden cups, they're so uplifting. And it's a natural sedative. It's an antispasmodic. It helps you to sleep and drop off to sleep without causing any drowsiness. So it's really beneficial for people who are finding it difficult to sleep in these troubling times, but it's great for children as well who are maybe a bit fractious and you can't settle them down. A little drop of this will help them to drift off to sleep, and obviously sleep is so good for us. It helps children to grow, it helps us to detox, and it helps us prepare for the next day. I would prefer to make a tea with it, so that you can have a nice little sip of tea before you go to bed, and you could do that, but in this climate it just doesn't dry properly because we've such a damp climate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of this now to make a tincture, and I'm using the whole of the aerial parts of the plant, which is everything above ground. So I have the flower petals, the leaves, the stems, the seed pods, the little buds of flowers, and they're all going to go into the tincture. So whenever you're making a tincture, you want to get your plant material chopped up as small as possible so that there's a much larger surface area for the solvent, in this case the alcohol, to extract the constituents of the plant that give its medicinal quality. I'm just roughly cutting with the scissors first, and then I'll start chopping. When I'm talking about a solvent, usually for a tincture making you can use, or you would use, vodka or an alcohol base. If you're going to give this to children, you might prefer to use a glycerin base. you know, to avoid the alcohol. Because you could use glycerin as a menstruum as well, and you should be able to get that in a pharmacy. You could also make a tincture using vinegar, but it wouldn't be quite as strong if you were to use apple cider vinegar, and it wouldn't last as long. It would last maybe a year, whereas an alcoholic tincture could last indefinitely. So chop as finely as you can. Doesn't it look beautiful? And the feathery fronds, you know, that gentle waving in the breeze, it's very relaxing just to look at it. I wish I could grow it outside because it does look so beautiful, but we've got such wind here that the petals get blown off very quickly, which is a shame. It's pretty much chopped enough now. You can see how moist the plant is. All the moisture is coming out as it's getting chopped. So that gives you an indication of how difficult it would be to dry in a damp climate. In my jam jar here, I've got about a finger of water. I haven't actually checked the ratio, but I always do put a little bit of water in because some of the constituents will be water soluble. So you don't want to miss out on those. And the other constituents are drawn with the alcohol. So I have a bit of a mixture of the two. Obviously, the higher water in the plant, the higher water content in the plant, the less water you add. So I've got about maybe 20% water going into this. And then I just add the vodka and cover all the plant material right to the top of the jar. There's a couple of bubbles coming up. So just to make sure they're all gone, I'll give it a little poke and let everything settle down. Then you put the lid on, and the final job is to label. So I'm going to just write on the label, California Poppy, 12th of May, 21. And then I'm all done. I collected lots of herbs this morning, and they're in the house waiting to be put into paper bags because I put a lot of things into paper bags to dry. The cleavers I have here is going to be juiced because that doesn't dry very well. When you do dry your herbs, they should look as green and as vibrant as these. These have been drying over the stove and as you can see, they're a beautiful, fresh, vibrant green, even though they're very brittle and dry now. Mint and dandelion. So it's quite simple to make your own medicine and to take care of your own health. And when you're doing it, it gives you an opportunity to get outdoors and to see the different stages of plants, the different times of beauty, and enjoy the whole experience. So I'm going to head back up. If you'd like more information on any of these plants, they're in the 2 Weed Handbooks that you can get from the website. Details are below. I look forward to seeing you next week, and if you enjoyed this, you could think about subscribing. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.